Hey guys, this is CES 2015 review number 1. So I just want to go through a few things that I think were cool till now, from what I've read, from what I've seen through our blogs, through some bloggers that are there, through whatever info that I could get. So let's start with something I don't know, I think it's actually stupid. The Coco 3D printer. Basically, this is a 3D printer that prints chocolate. I mean, that's kinda cool, but why would you do that? Well, whatever. That's not that interesting. Next thing is Google Audiocast, which is similar to Google Chromecast that you're probably familiar with, but this one is specifically for audio. What that means, you'll have speakers and probably TVs and other devices with speakers obviously that will support Google Audiocast, which means that you just get your device, whatever it's Android 5 or I don't know what exactly will be supported yet, and with one click of a button you transfer your audio that you listen on your device to the speakers with an instant transfer as they show on the video. I'll link to this in the description of this video. And that's something new that will probably be out soon. As I understood, there are already few vendors that Google is working with, so it will be pretty convenient to see such stuff. Now, next thing I want to talk about is Asus Zenfone 2. Basically, it's a new phone from Asus. I wouldn't say there's anything very special about it. Probably the only thing I've seen is that it has the volume keys on its back, like the LG G3 or G2. Almost the same thing. The only thing that is special about this device, well, maybe some software features, but the real special thing is it's the first ever device built with not only a 64-bit processor, but also a 4 gigs of RAM, which is actually really cool, I think. This is the first device that we see with such an amount of RAM. This will be the first device that will probably indeed use the 64-bit processor. One of the advantages of 64-bit processor is using more than 3 gigs of RAM, for example 4 gigs like this one. So up till now all the devices that has a 64-bit processor, I think it's just a waste of time. Yeah, it gives you some advantage, but the software should be adapted and things like that. But the real thing is when you have 4 gigs of RAM. So this will be really interesting. Now, the next device is Asus Zenfone Zoom. Now, this device is kinda similar to the Zenfone 2, but it reminds the Nokia Lumia, those 41 or whatever megapixels they had. This one is not a 40 or something megapixels, it's a 30 megapixels as always, but, and this is a huge but, it has an optic zoom, which means you can optically zoom by 3x on anything and it won't lose, you won't get that pixeled image like you get from our phones when you digitally zoom to whatever. This one will have an optical zoom which will give you a zoom option that won't distort anything in the picture. The quality will stay the same as without the zoom. Now the downside, I think, well, that's something that probably we'll have to see after the launch of the device, is that it has only 3000 mAh battery. It sounds not small, but when you think of it, that it has a massive display and massive of stuff we see now in any device, and you add an optical zoom, which means it has a motor inside, I think it will consume lots of battery because it's a motor, it's a mechanical thing. I'm not sure how will they handle it with such a battery. so battery life probably will be a little bit lower at least. Now the device is priced as far as I know. Oh, sorry. No, I don't know the price for this device. But the Zenfone 2, I heard it will be probably below $200 out of contract, which is kind of interesting for a device with such a huge amount of 4 gigs of RAM. I don't know who needs that amount of RAM right now, but it's, as someone said, future-proof, which means it will probably get many software updates and RAM won't be an issue for it for a long time. Next thing, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm always moving my head there, it's just that I prepared some stuff with Google Drive, just some notes written down, sorry, so I could remember what I want to talk about. Now the next thing is the MSI GT80 Titan. Now that's a laptop from MSI, a gaming laptop, a hardcore laptop that costs actually $3,600, and yeah, it costs a lot, but there's a but. Now it has a mechanical keyboard, which means you have a full key pressing like thing like you have in a full keyboard of a desktop, so it's kind of nice to have it for gaming. They did it, the laptop looks really weird. If you look, I'll link a video from one of the great bloggers, Linus. You'll see that in the video he actually shows that the laptop looks kind of weird. You have the keyboard in front of you, like given more forward to you, and it has a massive amount behind the keyboard that has nothing there, and the laptop itself is actually thick. Now the laptop has 18 point something inch screen display, which is actually huge for a laptop. Obviously it's a gaming laptop, so you wouldn't expect to, you know, grab it like an Ultrabook or something. But the most interesting thing about this laptop is that the place behind the keyboard, this place that has like nothing, it actually opens up and gives you the opportunity to upgrade this laptop, massively upgrade, I would say. Well, obviously you can upgrade the memory RAM like always, you can upgrade your CD DVD ROM, you can upgrade your hard drive, which actually, as far as I understood, you can put SSDs, those small SSD, MSSID I think they're called, sticks. You can put up to 4 of these, so you can actually RAID them, which will give you huge performance. And the most impressive thing, it has currently 2 graphics card, GTX something, whatever. I'm not a gaming person or a graphics person, so I don't really recall the model. But the thing is that you can upgrade both of those graphics cards, and they have a plan for 2 generations, which means that the next version that will give you probably next year and the year after that, you will still be able to upgrade your graphics cards at least for 2 generations, so you'll probably be able to keep up with your laptop. You won't have to buy a new one, at least for 2 generations. Now, next thing is the Intel computer, I would call it computer stick. Well, you probably have seen those Android sticks that you can insert to your TV, and you have a total Android experience, which is really cool. Those, you know, Raspberry and stuff like that, those small computer chips that were more for developers. This time Intel brings you the same similar stick to the Android sticks, but this one runs Windows 8.1. It comes with 2 gigs of RAM, quad-core CPU, and probably will have a version with Core M CPU, the new mobile core they have. which will be great. Well, it won't give you the opportunity to run games and stuff, but it will be great to have, as they called, a thin client or something like that on your huge TV with full functional Windows 8.1. Just connect your keyboard wirelessly or whatever. It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all that stuff like always. And it will cost you only $150 with Windows 10.1. I would say it's not very expensive for such a thing. At least it's a new thing, so well, probably prices will get down or something. Anyway, next thing I want to talk is driverless cars. As far as I've read, I think only Ford and probably Chevrolet showed a few keynotes and stuff on the CES up till now, and they talked many things about driverless cars. Now basically Google, if you recall, a few years ago already, started actually driving. I wouldn't call it driving. They produced few driverless cars. I think it was by Toyota or Honda, I forgot, probably Toyota. Basically it's the same car, regular car, with some device on it, like a cool video camera that rotates, some sensors added, and basically what the car does, it actually senses its environment and it can drive itself. You just have a computer like GPS inside as regular. You just point where it needs to go and it will go there. So as far as I know, there was only one crash or incident, however you want to call it, in California with such a car, and the reason was that another driver just didn't want to wait on the red light, just crossed, and the Google car didn't expect such a thing. Anyway, there was driver number 1, as they called. There's a video of that. I'll probably link that in the description below of this video as well. Actually it was a blind person who couldn't get around as you would expect, with that stick that blind people use. And Google gave him this car, and the video shows him driving, well, sitting in this car, just giving it directions by voice, I think it was, and the car actually drives him to McDrive or something like that, and yeah, he can get around with this car. So Ford talks about the same thing, almost the same thing. Now we can see many other vendors like BMW, and I think, I don't really recall who else did that. Audi probably so as well. Basically many vendors begin to move forward to those driverless cars. What else? Ford actually noted that there are more cars, and they talked about mega cities, the cities that has more than millions or something like that people inside. There are currently 10 to 20 around the world, and they expect to double that by a decade. Now cities are becoming bigger, and you can't expect the roads to become bigger as well. So there are sensors that will be able to sense like free parking space. So if you just pass by with your driverless or that futuristic car, and behind you someone with a similar car that's connected to this network-like system is actually searching for a parking lot, it will be able to receive data from your car that was collected about a free parking space, and this car will be able to park there. Well, it's not obviously one way, so basically if you need to park, someone might go next to your area through some parking space, and you will get this data as well, so you'll be able to find quickly a parking space. Now, I don't think there are many laws and things like that. There are people that are afraid of this technology, but you can also see already cars that park themselves automatically. Actually, I've been sent from my work to Cyprus to some work. We moved an office and I managed the IT part of that, moving over computers, racks and stuff like that. Anyway, the guy that I went with, we rented a car there that could actually park itself. So the first time we used it, we actually freaked out because suddenly the car takes control and steering itself and goes back, forward and stuff like that, and sometimes it seems like it's going too fast, gonna crash or something, but in the end, when we got more familiar with this car, we actually let it park itself and it was great. So I don't think that there's a need to be afraid of such a technology. It's just going there, that's it to it. I mean, things are getting automized anyway. Well, basically those cars, as I said, will have like, at least that's what probably will be planned, a whole network for themselves, which means that, for example, cars that are forward of you probably know that from Google Maps, if you use Google Maps navigation, so if there's a traffic in your road, Google actually can receive the data and show on its maps that there's lots of traffic on this road or whatever, and the car behind you will receive this data and will be able to calculate a different route. So basically this will probably give us quicker access to places. I think actually less traffic. Now cars are getting electric and stuff like that, and more technology. And if they are driverless, think about it. You could, for a long drive, you could actually sleep in your car, and car wouldn't have to be designed the same way it is today. Where someone in Ford, I think, in the keynote talked about imagine yourself having actually a hot tub in your car, which could actually be cool. I don't think in the winter here it's very cold right now, so I can't think about it right now, although you call it a hot tub, so maybe. Anyway, seats won't have to be, seated front. There won't be a driver actually. Probably just a normal computer screen, Android-like or whatsoever. Another thing Ford was talking about, that they actually seek developers that will actually develop for those car systems. Anyway, there's Android Auto, which will probably in the future will be actually the driver of those driverless cars. Will actually connect all those sensors and everything. Will be the computer of this. At least that's just my imagination. I think it will work like that. I don't know. I think we'll have to watch and see where it goes. Well, basically what all those driverless cars are going with, at least as I see it, if you ever heard about the Venus project, I will link some info about the Venus project in my video in the description below, so you will be able to read and get some info. The project actually talks about a different approach to our system, the whole planet works. I mean, all those politics, countries and stuff like that. Basically a different way, a resource-based economy and not monetized-based economy like we know today. And basically one of the aspects in this project is obviously technology, and one of them is driverless cars that will actually, we are talking about the same concept, that you won't have your own car and you basically just call a car and it will come for you, and that's it. So that's it. I'll keep you updated on future stuff from CES 2015. If there will be any good info, at least what I think it's interesting. That's why we have many bloggers, because, you know, everyone thinks that something else might be more interesting, and you can watch probably any other blogger if you want. That's what I thought was interesting, and I'll give you other stuff as well if I'll find it interesting. So keep up, and before I finish, I just want to remind you as well, I'll give a link in the description below this video to a form to fill out about my vlog, my blog, my vlog channel, and stuff like that, about its name, future, language. You know, I just need some help to decide what I'm gonna do. I'll probably get more serious about that pretty soon. So I have some things planned already. So go ahead and check the descriptions below, more info, more data about what I talked about right now. Have fun and stay tuned!